Günaydın Ayşe'cim. Umarım her şey yolunda. Ee, haydi bakalım. Başlayalım mı dersimize? İzliyorsun umarım videolarını. Haydi bakalım. Today we are going to learn adverbs of frequency. Now, always be careful. That is 100, so this means her zaman, right? And then it goes down. So what we say genellikle and generally and usually they are the same thing, and often, which means uh, sık sık, right? And sometimes and occasionally. Occasionally means nadiren. Also seldom means nadiren and rarely means what we say in Turkish like 40 yılda bir deriz ya böyle. İşte öyle bir şey. And never means asla. Okay, so I always wake up at 6 o'clock. I usually come home after work. I normally swim after school. I often spend Christmas with friends. I sometimes play tennis on the weekend, or in British English, it is be careful at weekend. I occasionally eat Vietnamese food. I seldom go to the library. I rarely listen to the radio, and I never listen to rock music. Says. Let's think. Hadi bakalım. Şimdi sen düşün bakalım. Mesela ben kendimi şimdi bunun yerine koyacağım. Bir de bunu dinle. Ondan sonra sen de neler yapıyorsun. For example, I always wake up at 4 o'clock, as you know. And what do I do? I usually I usually sleep early, and I normally don't work after 8:30 in the evening. I often spend time with my friends at the weekend, and I sometimes watch film on TV, and I occasionally uh, eat what Chinese food. I seldom go out in the week, and I rarely watch TV, and I never do any exercise because I'm very busy. Now, also, you can think that. So, what is the difference? Every day, every week, every weekend, month, and year, once, twice, 3 times, or 4 times a year. Now, for example, we have lessons every Friday. Now, look at here, please. Here, you say I always. Here, I say at the end. Değil mi? Cümlenin neresine getirdim? Sonuna getirdim, right? And, for example, um, I, sorry, I speak English every day. Okay, and and I spend the weekend out every week. Okay, now Bunları hatırlaman lazım Ayşe. Once, twice, three times, once, twice, three times and four times. For example, let me do this time. Let me ask you a question. How often, how often do you go out? I go out twice a week. For example, how often do you meet your friends? Or let's say, how often do you go on holiday? Right? So the answer is I go on holiday once a year. So now we are going to check. How often do you plan your day's activities? Sorry, Ayşe. How often do you plan your day's activities? This is for me. So I always plan my day's activities. So I got here 5 points, okay? You should do it. How often do you sleep? 8 hours a day. I never sleep 8 hours a day. How often do you find time to relax during this day? I usually find time to relax during the day. And how often are you on time for appointments? Do you know what appointments means, Ayşe? It means, for example, you go to a doctor. What do you get? You call the doctor and you get an appointment. So appointment means rendezvous in Turkish. So how often are you on time? I am always on time for my appointments. How often do you spend more than an hour for lunch? Bir saatten fazla. I, if we are out. So let's say I seldom spend more than an hour. Okay. How often do you see your friends at the weekends? I usually see my friends at the weekends. How often do you do exercise or sports during the week? I have no time, so I should say I should be honest. There's olmalıyım, right? Honest. And how often do you? Sorry. Okay, now this is 5. What did I do? Okay, do you see? Now, do you plan? Okay, do you sleep? Okay, and do you find time? Okay, and I am always, and this is, ah, okay, şimdi anlaşıldı. Okay, and number 5, how often do you, I said yes, and how often do you see your friends? And how often do you exercise? Unfortunately. And how often do you read a magazine in the evening? No, I work very hard and I don't want to read anything. I just want to close my eyes and sleep as early as possible. How often do you wake up full of energy? I should say I seldom. How often do you laugh in a normal workday? I have lots of students and I love them, so I usually laugh. So 5, 9, 10, 15, right? 19, 20, and 24. You don't find relaxing very easy, and life is a bit difficult for you. Çıkıyor demiştim. Yes, that is. So you should try it. And now, tell me something you never do. For example, like I never watch TV. Tell me you sometimes do in the evening. I sometimes, what do I do in the evening? I sometimes uh stay up late in the evenings. What does stay up late means? Go to bed late, okay? And what I often have dinner at a restaurant at the weekends. And you usually I usually drink a lot of coffee in the morning, and I always work on Sunday, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. And now here, remember swap, please. Okay, and also we don't